and throws another punch at his face. Because of this blow, he was thrown to the side. Su Lai thinks that he cannot lose. He opens his eyes and thinks he said he felt energy, right? If he remembers correctly, most of the trees planted near Kaiyuan are excellent guides. And now is the flowering season. He wipes the blood from his face and smiles. He begins to concentrate energy around himself and streams of energy begin to revolve around him. Xinguang is surprised by what is happening. A lot of energy revolves around Su Lai and he says that now everything depends on how he sniffs. Xinguang understands that his affairs are bad because the smells are mixed. Su Lai concentrates the energy next to him and says that now he will see how well he hit. It fires many magical projectiles in different directions. Xinguang puts a magical barrier in front of himself and asks how an ordinary student can overcome it. Suddenly his barrier cracks and this greatly surprises him. His whole body was pierced and he thinks that this is impossible. He fell to the ground and wondered if he was crucified. It turns out that flowers can also be used as weapons. Su Lai comes up to him and thinks that now he will see what good things can be found. The director is not here, so all this will go to him. He takes out a red talisman and asks what is it. He picks it up and presses something. Suddenly the talisman begins to move and releases energy. A projection of the city with a mark in the air appears in front of him. Su Lai wonders if this is an energy collection tower. It turns out, this moving yellow dot, this. At the same time, Liang Yonghui walks through the city and notices something. He wonders why there are so many patrol teachers here. He smiles and coughs into his fist. Chen Ying notices him and wonders why the student is here. Was the safe zone under attack? She calls him student. Liang Yonghui begins to shake and says that he is in pain. Chen Ying runs to him and asks what happened to him. He takes his revolver out of his inner pocket. Chen Ying is very surprised by this and notices that a weapon is being pointed at her. Liang Yonghui smiles and laughs creepily. He fires a shot and stabs the teacher. She coughs up blood and realizes that he is from Jormungandr. Chen Ying fell to the floor and he says that it turned out unpleasant. He pokes his finger into her wound and, smearing his face with blood, says that this is an example of how insignificant teachers are. He turns around and, noticing something, begins to run away somewhere. Def walks around the city and says that something is wrong here. 3 teachers do not answer. Liang Yonghui looks at him from the roof of the building and grins, licking his bloody face. He runs to Wu Dafa and asks him to help and save him. Wu Def was wary when he saw him and thinks that all the students should have been evacuated. What is he doing here? He goes to him and asks what happened to him. Liang Yonghui thinks he's caught. He immediately takes out a revolver from his inside pocket. Def notices this and fires a shot from a revolver. He puts a barrier in front of himself and thinks that now he understands everything. He is a member of Jormungandr. Unexpectedly his barrier was broken due to this shot. He dodges and thinks that it's working out. Everything is so easy. He runs behind Liang Yonghui very quickly. Wu Def delivers a very strong blow using his energy. Liang Yonghui gets up and coughs. He takes out his pipe and thinks that it looks like he has met someone who can cause him problems. He chuckled and said that he did not expect that there were strong people in Kaiyuan. He was very lucky. He inhales using his snorkel. He releases bright purple smoke and says that they will meet again. He was frightened because he felt someone's gaze on him. Lu Cheng uses a chain created from energy and uses a blocking technique. She releases 3 chains that fly near Liang Yonghui. The chains grab him and he asks what else is this. Lu Cheng stands on the building, holding chains in his hand and asks if he really thought he could escape. She jumps towards him and pulls the chains. Because of this, Liang Yonghui is attracted to her and he says that it seems that his affairs are bad. Lu Cheng says that she finally caught him. In the air she kicks him in the face. He falls to the ground with great force and a loud sound. She falls behind him and is immediately about to throw another kick. She lands and kicks him in the head, trampling him into the asphalt. She looks at Liang Yonghui with contempt and he is about to shoot her with a revolver. Lu Cheng throws another kick and knocks the weapon out of his hand. She releases her energy and kicks him and says that she will avenge teacher Chen Ying. Wu Def says that he is the only member of Jormungandr whom they managed to catch. They need to take into account the circumstances and not give in to emotions. Lu Chen gets very angry looking at him and lifts him up. Some time later, Def holds a revolver in his hand and says that even his energy cannot affect this weapon. He can't even imagine how many more weapons the Jormungandr members have. The consequences could be unimaginable. He calls on the phone and someone says it's a teacher hotline. Wu Dafa says everyone should pay attention. The Jormungandr members pretend to be students and must check everyone who approaches the tower. They must be careful because they have weapons in their hands that can kill the cultivator. Lu Cheng should take him to the training ground because he wants to interrogate him. At the same time on the sports ground, Su Lai looks at the projection and asks why it is starting to flash brighter. He wonders if Jormungandr really hid a treasure here. He begins to carefully examine the roof of the building and finds explosives. Su Lai is very surprised to see this and asks if this is not an explosive device. He remembers what happened once upon a time. Sun Dehui tells the students that today they will understand the structure of explosives. Su Lai must go up to him to give a demonstration. You should always remove the red wire first and only then the green one, but never vice versa. If the green one is removed before the red one, then Su Lai cuts the wire and asks what will happen then. He reveals that he cut the green wire and says that he was a little mistaken. Sun Dehui says the green wire will activate the bomb. Immediately after his words there is a small explosion. Su Lai starts to run away and he gets angry at him. In the present, he thinks that he needs to eliminate this explosive before it explodes. But where is the red wire? He only has one try. Ma watches the hologram of the building and notices that the signal has disappeared. He is surprised by this and asks, did Guang do this? What is he doing and why didn't the explosives go off? Su Lai disarmed all the explosives he found and breathed a sigh of relief. He takes out the talisman and wants to check something. An inscription appears on the hologram stating that the object is approaching him and is now 55 meters away from him. Su Lai realizes that someone is coming towards him. He hides in the bushes and hopes that he is not visible. Ma comes running to the place and asks Guang why he still hasn't figured this out. What's his problem? He looks around and notices the remains of a bomb lying on the ground. He finds Su Lai's legs sticking out of the bushes and says that he must come out. What kind of hide and seek did he decide to do here? He gets very angry and says that he shouldn't blame him later since he's not going to go out. He channels a huge amount of energy into his hand and runs towards him. Su Lai continues to lie and hope that he is not visible. Ma releases the energy he collected in his hand at him. He opens his eyes and feels this powerful energy. There is a very strong explosion of energy. Su Lai gets to his feet and thinks that if he had slowed down a little, he would most likely have suffered the same fate as that bush. Ma asks this guy who he is. Where did he come from and why does he have a badge? Su Lai takes out the token and says that he just received it from someone. If he finds the owner, he can try to notify him. Ma thinks that Jormungandr member tokens are unique and can only be obtained if a person dies. He gets angry and asks, does he dare to mock him? He watches him closely. Su Lai is surprised by what he sees. Ma strikes and releases his energy, but he manages to dodge the attack. Su Lai looks at him and thinks that the speed and power of the blow are no longer what they used to be. Maybe he is the owner of the golden pill. Ma wonders, is this guy only at the Kai refinement stage? How could Guang lose to him? He is going to attack with his foot, directing energy there and says that this was a demonstration performance, and they will only start now. Su Lai is surprised to see him hit. He barely has time to block this blow, putting his hands in front of him. Due to the force of the blow, he was thrown into a tree. He falls to the ground and coughs up blood. He thinks it was painful. He feels as if all his bones have been broken. He opens his eyes and looks at him. Ma stands in front of him and asks, is this all he can do? He punches him and says that of course it is, because he is only in the period of Kai purification. He laughs loudly as he throws many punches and asks if this doesn't feel good. He laughs very loudly and says that his bones are quite hard. However, he enjoys it very much. He takes the token from him, Jormungandr. He leaves and says that he made a mistake. How can he contact Liang Yonghui now? Let him just try to break something else. Su Lai grabs the stone that was lying next to him. Ma turns to him and wonders if he is still alive. This is very surprising. Su Lai directs his energy into the stone and asks, he decided to leave when he had enough of playing. Does anyone do that? Kaiyuan disciples are not easily intimidated. Ma shows him the middle finger and asks, he doesn't think he can deal with him with a stone. Does he really think he can survive? Su Lai throws the stone with great force. Ma caught this stone with one hand without any problems. Su Lai starts running towards him very quickly. Ma notices this and thinks that he is hiding using distractions. This is very interesting. Su Lai runs behind him and grabs him. He throws it over himself and hits the ground with tremendous force. He sees the silhouette of Ma, who stands up and laughs loudly. He says that he has not met such an opponent for a long time. His energy destroys his clothes and he says that he is the first to do so. He's finished. They run at each other to start fighting and channel their energy to attack. After some time on the training ground, Wu Def says that he will ask him a question and it will be better if he answers honestly. What is their purpose for infiltrating Kaiyuan? Liang Yonghui smiles and says that in any case, they have already completed the plan. Explosions will occur in a few minutes. Def wonders if he is really talking about the collection tower. Liang Yonghui starts laughing loudly and says that while they are here with him, all actions are already moving into activation mode. He wants them to know the true power of Jormungandr. The teachers start beating him and Lu Cheng says that he should look into the situation. He is actually their prisoner. After several strong blows, Def asks how things are going with the energy collection tower. Yuanjen says that he just asked the teachers to explore the tower to understand everything. Def wipes his glasses and says that in this case, the only way to make the school explode is to place explosives nearby. Where did they plant the bombs? Where is the switch located? He must answer the questions. Liang Yongwei asks if he can give them such information. If they plan to spend their last moments on him, then he would gladly accept it. Suddenly, an explosion of energy occurs not far from them. Wu Def notices this and says that this is the power of the golden pill. At this time in the Kaiyuan safe zone, the building is closed by a large barrier. Someone asks how things are outside. Several explosions occurred, until the teachers say, "You can't go out." Girls talk to each other. "Isn't she causing trouble? They should stay here because it's safer here. She shouldn't worry, this is the safest place, the energy can withstand even strong attacks." Lu Xing looks at her phone and remembers that Su Lai told her that they should go to the safe zone and he needed to talk to the director. She thinks he was going to come here, then why is he still not there? She tries to call him in hopes that nothing happened. She bites her nails and hopes that he will answer her call. The answering machine voice says that the subscriber is out of network coverage. Lu Xing begins to cry and wonders what she should do. Suddenly Su Lai met a strong enemy and could not resist him. Her hand is shaking and she clutches the phone tightly in her hand. She starts running away from the safe zone and thinks that nothing should happen to him. At the same time, Ao Ma throws a very strong punch and throws Su Lai into the wall. He wipes the blood from his face and thinks that it looks like he is not his opponent at all. Ao Ma wonders why he feels a constant rush of blood into his body. His body must not have been so agitated for a long time, there could be no other reason. He tells this guy that he is not his rival, so he shouldn't waste his energy. It would be better if he was his hostage. Su Lai points his finger and says that he should look, someone is coming there. Ao Ma emits strong energy and says that he will not be able to deceive him, there is no one here. Su Lai clenches his fist and wonders, the explosion should have attracted the attention of the director and the others, right? He hopes that the director will hurry up, because he can't stand it anymore. Ao Ma notices a very bright glow on the roof of the building. He turns around and thinks that things are bad, and indeed, someone has come, and besides, he is the owner of the golden pill. He does this on purpose, deliberately delays it. His goal is to create fluctuations in energy and thereby attract people. He managed to deceive him. All the teachers and the director came running to them. Wu Def says he must surrender. All members of the Jormungand except him have been destroyed, and his comrade in arms has betrayed him. Liang Yongwei has been sealed and can't say anything. Ao Ma releases very strong energy and says that they are a bunch of trash. Since they are all here, he will deal with them all at once. Suddenly he feels severe pain and wonders why a sharp pain pierced his body. He falls to his knee and starts coughing up blood. He wonders if this is residual energy from his blow. Wu Dafa orders the teachers to capture him. Sun Dihui concentrates energy in his hand and flies towards Ao Ma. Lu Cheng runs towards him and concentrates his energy. Sun Dihui channels energy into his palm and is about to attack him from behind. He strikes and says that he is relying on her. Lu Cheng jumps up and is about to attack with his foot and says that she can handle it no problem and they should watch more carefully. She kicks Ao Ma in the face and the attack sends him flying into the wall. She stands up and says that she couldn't even imagine that it was so amazing. Su Lai is surprised that she has very long legs. Ao Ma says that they shouldn't look down on Jormungandr because they also have a backup plan. He raises his hand and presses the detonator and says that he will now destroy Kaiyuan and starts laughing loudly. All the teachers are surprised by this, but nothing happened. They stand in their places for some time, not understanding what is happening. Ao Ma examines the detonator and asks what went wrong. Why didn't he succeed? Su Lai apologizes and says that he dismantled all the bombs that were placed along the perimeter. Ao Ma got angry with him and tells this freak that he ruined all his plans. Def says he has no more cards up his sleeve. If he surrenders, they will turn him over to law enforcement and he may live. Ao Ma asks if he really thinks he will give up. This will never happen. The teachers stand around him and prepare to attack. Lu Xing runs up to them and asks Su Lai if he is okay. His phone was unreachable and she was very worried about him. Su Lai says everything is fine since the principal and teachers are here. By the way, it's dangerous here, why did she come? Lu Xun says that she was worried about him. Ao Ma laughs and says that among them there is one of the most powerful bombs and they don't know about it. Lu Cheng asks what is he talking about? Is there a bomb among them? Wu Dafa says he doesn't need to threaten them. Ao Ma says that none of them will leave today. He raises his hand and releases his energy to remove the seal. Liang Yongwei is surprised and his body radiates energy. Lu Cheng turns to him and says that they should look at him. Def says that things are bad, the energy in his body is raging. Liang Yongwei's body changed and the chains that bound his body were destroyed. Someone says that it will explode very soon and everyone should run away from it. Liang Yonghui runs towards Lu Xing. Su Lai stands in front of her and tells her that she should go to the director and they can rely on him for the rest. He pounces and captures Liang Yonghui. Ma is surprised and asks what he is up to. Su Lai carries Liang Yonghui to him and says that of course he wants to return it to him. Ma says that if he continues to do this, he might die himself. Su Lai grabs Liang Yonghui by the hair and lifts him above him and says that he may not even think about the fact that he will not accompany him to hell. He throws it towards Ma with all his might. Wu Def detains Lu Xing and tells her that she can't go there because it's too dangerous. Teacher Sun and Teacher Lu must prepare for a defensive formation, because the scale of the explosion cannot be allowed to expand. Liang Yonghui flies, and his body turns red due to energy. Lu Cheng says everyone should prepare. Sun Dehui says he has everything ready. Ma is very scared because of this and says that he should leave him because they are his goals, not him. Wu Def releases his energy and says that heaven is ready. He uses an energy harvesting technique and creates a wall of energy. Lu Xing cries and calls Su Lai. At the same time in the law enforcement hall, the girl says that according to the report, the system tracked the explosion with coefficients of 6.0 at Kaiyuan High School with an explosion range of 100 meters. The old man says that this explosion of energy is with a coefficient of 6.0, but the range is only 100 meters. It looks like someone interfered. The system window says that the explosion coefficient varies from 0 to 10. From 0 to 3 is a small burst of energy, from 3 to 6 is a medium burst of energy, from 6 to 9 is a strong burst of energy, over 9 is the most powerful burst of energy. The old man says that this explosion was caused by members of Jormungandr. They should go to Kaiyuan school. A large cloud of smoke rose on the school grounds due to this explosion. Ma lies at the center of the explosion that occurred due to Liang Yonghui. Wu Defa says that even a person in the Yuanying period would not be able to survive an explosion of such powerful energy. Sun Dehui cries and calls Su Lai. Lu Xun fell to her knees and asked, crying, how could this happen to him? Su Lai comes out of the smoke and says he is fine. He comes to them covered in abrasions and wounds with a wide smile. His vision deteriorates and he begins to lose consciousness. He begins to fall and thinks that he almost succeeded. Lu Xing and the teachers run up to him and she says that he must wake up. He can't leave her. Wu Def directs his energy at him through his hand and says that she need not worry. He is using the energy to heal his injuries and moreover, he has protected his internal organs, so there are no serious problems. Someone flew to them on swords and landed next to them. The teachers noticed them and turned around. Law enforcement people tell the director that the law is already here. Wu Dafa goes to them and says that Kaiyuan school has encountered such a serious incident, it looks like they should have come a long time ago. It took them too long to get here. The old man asks for forgiveness from the director and says that they are a little late. But they shouldn't worry, their department has always carefully monitored Jormungandr's plans, his personal visit is the best proof. Wu Def says that they dealt with the people, but for the rest, he relies on them. The old man approaches Ma and says that he did not think that Jormungandr would send a man with a golden pill. Who revealed it? Def says it was his student who did it. Law enforcement people were surprised that a student did this. The old man asks, was it the same student? The girl says that this is a student of the Kai purification period. He defeated the Jormungand member with the golden pill. Is that possible? The old man touches Su Lai with his hand and asks this guy if he is feeling better. He slowly begins to open his eyes. The old man points behind him and asks if he sees this. Su Lai agrees and says that what he sees is that he has a lot of wrinkles. The girl was embarrassed and asked, so what does he see? The old man coughed and said that this is not it. He is looking in the wrong direction. He needs to look behind his back. The vine includes 7 leaves that can bear fruit. The lowest stage of Yuanying, the words early and middle denote the cultivation stage. Lu Xing is surprised and says that the first fruit of the vine is the top. Is this the peak of the Yuanying period? The old man says that she has excellent eyesight. She said everything correctly. They must answer his question seriously. They may not even try to hide the truth. What happened now was his doing. Su Lai says of course it is. Why would he lie about this? The old man says they should go and get testing equipment. This guy still needs to be tested. One of the girls bows and agrees. The old man took out some kind of device that released a beam of light. Su Lai asks what is this thing in his hands. Wu Dafa says that this is an exclusive law enforcement equipment that can show the past using the energy of the deceased. However, most are only fragments of memories. The old man sees fragments of Ma's memory where he says that a long time has passed since he met such an opponent. Was he really injured? Print activation. He must leave because they are his goal, not he. After looking through all the fragments of memories, the old man says that he understood everything, but they will still take the body. As for the rest, he and the director will sort it out. Wu Dafa tells Lu Xing that she should take Su Lai and they should go to rest, and he still needs to resolve some matters. She agrees with the director. She helps Su Lai walk and says that next time he shouldn't be so reckless, he might not be so lucky again. He says that he understood her. Lu Xing says that she tells him every time he should stop causing trouble. Su Lai turns away and quietly says that she controls him too much. Lu Xing gets angry and asks what did he just say. He loudly says that he understood her and will not do this again. The old man looks back at him and thinks that the fact that this guy is going through a period of Kai purification is very interesting. 3 days later, through a magic loudspeaker, someone tells the students that most likely everyone already knows about the infiltration of Jormungand members into Kaiyuan school. Now everything has been resolved, the admission ceremony will be held again. The students say that he heard that Jormungander sent the owner of the golden pill. This is very scary. He didn't expect such a determined person to be among their students. Indeed, that student is very cool. Dev coughs into his fist to attract attention and says that first of all, he wanted to say that they are the future of this school, so everything depends on them. They must cultivate properly. In the future, they will shoulder all the current affairs, so they need to carefully prepare for exams and strive to enter the most prestigious university. And also, secondly, regarding the situation with Su Lai. He made a huge contribution to the destruction of Jormungand, so he deserved a letter of recommendation from law enforcement agencies. Given all of Su Lai's successes and achievements, the school decided to give him a place at the martial arts university. The students are surprised and ask will they give him a place at the university. Had he not heard correctly? How does he get there? He hopes that someday he too will have such luck and will enter there without exams. He even has a letter of recommendation. After completing his studies, he will be able to freely go to work for the authorities. It's just incredible luck. Lu Xing congratulates him and says that now he has nothing to worry about. Su Lai laughed and said he was just lucky. She says that a great future awaits him. He was embarrassed and blushed because of her words. Sun Dehui says that this is very good and he congratulates him on this. He hugs Su Lai and says that everything is going as it should be because he has a wonderful academic record. So who, if not him, could have such an honor? Su Lai tells the teacher that he would like to thank him for teaching for so many years. He was always worried about not being able to lay the foundation, but he helped him find a different way to enroll. Sun Dehui says that this is what he had to do. As long as they can go to universities, his efforts will not be in vain. But he shouldn't get too arrogant, he should continue to study. Now he can go back and rest. Su Lai agrees and says that he will work hard and will definitely not let the teachers down. Some time later at Su Lai's house, he went inside and thinks that he can finally rest. He immediately went to the bathroom and thinks that although the question of admission was resolved, the main problem still remained. How can he lay the foundations? Someone starts ringing the intercom continuously, despite the fact that the sign next to the bell says that you do not need to constantly press the button. Su Lai notices what came to him and wonders who came at such a late time. He gets dressed on the way to the door and says he's on his way. He opens the door and sees Lu Cheng in front of him. He says it's very late. Something happened. She holds a folder in her hand and says that the director sent it. Su Lai thinks that he shouldn't expect anything good, since the director sent her to him at such a time, then most likely he wants to give him an additional task. He says his body hasn't fully recovered yet, so he wants to wait until classes start. He begins to close the door, but Lu Cheng kicks the door right through. She comes inside and says this is about his university and employment. Is he sure that he doesn't want to listen to her? Su Lai lets her in with tears in her eyes and says she can come in. Lu Cheng put the folder on the table and said that there is a letter of recommendation from the Law Enforcement Bureau. After he graduates from university, he will be able to join the Law Enforcement Bureau. Su Lai opened the folder and begins to look through all the papers. Lu Cheng says that however, they have a small request. They need to go to the Underground Guild during the summer holidays to gain experience. Su Lai was very surprised when he heard about this. Realizing her words, he was shocked by this and wondered, will he go to the Underground Guild? This guild is located in an underground city on the border of ferocious monsters and is considered a terrifying organization. The underground city is a place where countless criminals and illegal citizens gather. Murders, robberies, life and death challenges, lives are at stake every day. And the Underground Guild is the camp of this group of criminals. The guild regularly issues various missions with rewards, but they are even more limited. Nothing can be obtained until a person reaches the goal. Very often guild members betray and kill each other. If someone goes to the underground city, then the question arises whether he will be able to return alive, let alone enroll in a martial arts university. Su Lai puts the folder on the table and says that she should tell the director that he does not need this letter of recommendation and qualifications to pass. He will find another way to go to university. Lu Cheng says that he shouldn't refuse so quickly. She knows that he is worried that the underground city is too dangerous. So before she leaves, she will give him something. This is a soul pill. Even if his meridians are torn and he remains on his last legs, he should eat it and he will immediately save his life. And this is a special chain mail. He must wear it under his clothes. Ordinary swords, pistols, and bows cannot harm him. As long as he is not an incarnation period cultivator, he can block a full blow. Su Lai thinks that these are rare treasures, but he will have to constantly worry about his safety. He wants these things, but does not want to go to the underground city. He laughed and said that it seemed to him that such jewelry should remain with her. Liu Cheng takes out something and says that finally, a limited black card issued by the Underground Guild, which can be owned by a small number of famous individuals in the cultivation world. With the help of this map, he will be able to freely pass through the underground city. Su Lai is surprised by this and says that it turns out that she also keeps the black card with her. He thinks that if this card is really so powerful, but it can be given away so easily. Could it be a fake to fool him? Liu Cheng hits the table with his hands and asks if he thought well. Su Lai thinks that it's not that difficult after all. Liu Cheng says that this is a real opportunity for him to prove himself. Isn't he really excited about this? This underground guild might be able to help him find a way to overcome the period of Kai purification. Su Lai is surprised that her energy is very pure. Liu Cheng says that he will also be able to control his energy as freely as she does. His body is full of energy, but it cannot fully come out. Then he will be able to figure it out. Just like the snowflakes she condensed, he will also be able to create similar things. But now it's just a bundle of energy. If he puts pressure on it, it can take any form. If it gives any attributes, it can change the state. Before coming here, she talked to his homeroom teacher and found out that he was never interested in cultivation, but he came first in every test. This results in his environment becoming extremely comfortable without any external pressure. Perhaps this is the reason why he cannot move from the Kai refining period to the foundation laying period. Only when faced with adversity will people change. You just need to put pressure on it. The Underground Guild is dangerous, but the items in the black card it gives him can protect him as much as possible. He must believe that all this guarantees his safety. Su Lai watches in horror as this room fills with smoke and thinks that the teacher's words sound quite reasonable. It's true that he hasn't worried about cultivation since childhood. No matter who it is, he will provide himself with the best resources, so the growth rate will also be very high. Is it possible that the reason why he cannot overcome the period of Kai purification is because he lives in too comfortable conditions? Liu Cheng says that if he still insists on refusing, then she will not force her, but will take back the black card and treasure. Su Lai stops her and says that he will go to the Underground Guild. He worries and thinks it's a big deal. He calms down and thinks that he will not touch dangerous things, will not fight for dangerous tasks, and will ignore dangerous people. As long as he stays in the Underground Guild for 1 month, he will be guaranteed admission to the Law Enforcement Bureau, and he will definitely be able to enroll in college. He has nothing to lose. He rejoices at the things he received and Liu Cheng leaves. She went to the door and said that then they decided everything. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock someone will take him to the underground city. The next morning, Liu Xing rings the bell of his house several times. Su Lai runs to the door and says that he will be there soon. He looks into the hole left by Liu Cheng and is surprised to see it. Liu Xing asks, is he upset? She fulfills the teacher's instructions and accompanies him to the underground city. Su Lai asks if she doesn't want to prepare for the martial arts university entrance test. How will she have time to go to the underground city? Liu Xing says that the martial arts university is preparing for a possible period of famine. This year a new entrance test method for hunting monsters has been introduced, which she should familiarize herself with in advance. But she heard this from her father. Others do not know about it. Su Lai says that the underground city is more dangerous than they think, so she shouldn't complain to him when she gets into trouble. Liu Xing says that she will see who will cry. Su Lai leaves and says they should go. She points in the other direction and says that he is going the wrong way. The underground city is there. Now she understood why the teacher asked her to accompany him. After some time outside the underground city, Su Lai says that if she is afraid, he can take her back. Liu Xing says that she is not afraid, it is just a normal physiological reaction. He says that he knows that she has a lot of courage, then she can hold on to him. Du Xing agrees and grabs his hand. Su Lai blushed and thought she was too close. They continue on and he says that this must be the underground city they are looking for. Some time later near the gate to the underground city, the man smokes a cigarette and says that they stand here every time and guard. No one will be able to penetrate the underground city. The second man says that he doesn't even have money for normal alcohol. The guy looks through the telescope and notices something. He says they should see who it looks like is approaching. Looks like these two are students. One of them asks, did the couple come on a date? He starts laughing at his own joke. The guy finishes his noodles and says that it looks like they were lucky today. The signs tell them to remember to clock in when they come to work. Underground City 250th floor. The guy throws away the bowl of noodles and jumps down with the rest of the guys and says that they should be ready. They came close to the gate and Sulai asked, "Is there anyone here? Let them open. They need to go to the underground city." The guys laughed and jumped down, shouting that for the first time the prey was coming to them. Their leader landed first and told the others to strike a pose. The group of 4 guards stood in a greeting pose and Sulai and Losing remained silent. After a short pause, Losing said that they looked very angry and not friendly at all. Sulai replied that all the people of the underground city are illegal, of course they will not be good. Let her be careful and follow him. The guy pointed at Losing with his sword and called her cute and said that if she wants to enter, she must show her strength. The other guy told Sulai that if he doesn't know the rules, he should hurry up, otherwise don't let him blame them later. Sulai reached into his pocket and took out a card, then threw it to them and said to take it. He thought that of course, this map given by Teacher Lu is useless, but who knows, maybe it will work. The guy frowned and thought, does he have a hidden weapon? At the same moment the card flew right into his face and the other guys clicked on him. One of them ran up to him and asked if he was okay. Another guy called Sulai a brat and exclaimed, how dare he hurt their brother. Losing said that with his skills, it would be good for him to learn hidden weapons. Sulai said that he just quit. The card stuck into the guy's helmet and he started crying. Then he pulled the card out and said that they will not leave here until they give compensation. They are nothing but losses. Sulai thought that he had not broken some porcelain. Suddenly the guy saw what kind of card he was holding in his hands and was very surprised to see the name Wudafa. He quickly jumped to his feet and ran towards Sulai, then he bowed 90 degrees and apologized to him, saying that he didn't know that he would deign to visit them so early this year. He will open the gate now. He told his brothers to open the gate quickly. One of them asked why. The guy replied that he said to open it. Losing looked out from behind Sulai and asked him, do you really think he is sane? Why did his attitude change 180 degrees? Sulai replied that he didn't know, he didn't even press. Maybe it's all because of the black card. After that, the guy returned the card and Sulai remembered that the teacher said that these were a limited series of cards issued by the Underground Guild. A small group of people had them. With the help of it will pass unhindered. Sulai thought, is it really that easy to use? The gate opened, they went inside and Sulai thought they were similar, she didn't lie. One of the guys asked if they would just let them go. Their brother responded by asking, have they seen the black card? Number 9, belonging to the principal of Kaiyuan school. If they dare to provoke his students, he is afraid they will cause problems later. Every year the director sends several students here to strengthen and improve their abilities. As far as he remembers, more than half of them later became powerful cultivators. The director has excellent intuition. But why did he send a guy who was in the Kai refining stage this year? He does not understand. Sulai and Losing entered the underground city where lawlessness reigned. Someone was planning the next target for murder, someone started a fight on an advertising sign, and someone was beating someone up. Sulai looked around and said that this place is such a mess. Losing showed him a map of the underground city and told him to look, the underground guild was in the center. Once they enter the city, no matter which path they take, they will still end up in the guild. After a while they reached the underground guild and Sulai said that this is so cool. They entered the hall and saw several rows of queues. Sulai said that there are so many people here. He showed the consultant the black card and said that this was their first time here. What do they need to do? The girl smiled at him and said that he was the owner of the black card, so let him follow her. Which guild member said he had a black card? He was not mistaken. Sulai walked to the front desk where the girls greeted him and another guild member said that he was so young, she didn't think he could have such a card. After that, there was a ringing sound and the girl told Sulai that Principal Wu from Kaiyuan school was calling him. An image of the director appeared in front of Sulai and he said that he would now announce his main tasks for this month. If he wants to survive, he must adapt to the rules here. He won't give exact orders, everything depends only on him. Sulai replied that he understood him, after which the girl handed him a card with the room number and said that it was his card. They registered it, so they will go to the first collision. She showed Sulai the card that he was a participant in the Colosseum and Sulai and Losing exclaimed in surprise, Colosseum. The girl came closer to Sulai and said that it seems that Mr. Su does not yet know about the guild test. Another girl also approached him and said that all members who register for the first time in the underground guild must fight to improve their abilities. The girl said that of course, at the first test the monster will not be particularly strong, but he will succeed. They went to the elevator and said that the Colosseum was underground, so let him follow here. They entered the elevator and pressed the minus button for the 10th floor. Losing asked Sulai in a whisper, all the floors lead down, so deep. He asked, 18 floors down. The girl said that the deeper they go, the more dangerous it becomes, so don't let them walk around alone. They arrived at the right floor and the girl said that here they are, let him take care of himself. In front of them is the Colosseum. The elevator doors opened and Sulai saw a man fighting with a beast. The man punched the bear in the face and the audience told him to be energetic. He invested all his savings in it. Let him put the beast down. The man nailed the bear to the floor and the host said they should congratulate the champion, Dali. The audience was happy and said that he did a good job. How cool it is, he got rich. The host said that they enjoyed a great battle, now he thinks they are looking forward to the next player. Who's next? He's not that good. The youngest black card holder in the history of the underground guild. The viewer was asked, but where did he get it from? Some spectators said that he bought tickets so successfully. The host said that the next participant is the owner of the black card Su Lai. A spotlight was pointed at Su Lai and he asked, what is it? Is it really his turn already? The girl said that the holder of black cards has special privileges. Su Lai remained silent and, taking off his jacket, thought that this was such a terrible privilege. Lu Xing told him to be careful and wished him good luck, and he told her not to worry, everything will be fine. He entered the arena and the spectator said that he must be very strong if at such a young age he already has a black card with him. Not to mention the previous one. The host looked at the document with Su Lai's information and said that he would now introduce the applicant. He saw what stage of cultivation he was at and said that there must be some kind of mistake. Or is their participant really in a period of Kai purification? One of the spectators laughed and asked, is it a period of cleansing? He is afraid, he has never even seen monsters. If he is killed by a monster, he will earn a fortune. The girl looked at him in disbelief and said that he didn't steal the black card. Another spectator told them to start, it's time to collect money. Su Lai thought that he had already encountered monsters, even killed a few. A girl from Jormungand deliberately opened the wrong cage and the host said that there was nothing more to say, they were starting the test. The cage opened and a monster entered the arena. The host asked why they released this monster. Even the owner of the golden pill is not sure that he can cope, let alone a person who is in the period of Kai purification. The spectators got scared and one of them said that he was afraid the guy wouldn't leave here alive today. Lu Xing started biting her fingers and thought that Su Lai should live. The host said that in front of them was a steel wolf who had won the previous battles. I wonder what the outcome will be in the battle with Su Lai. Su Lai began to worry and thought, shouldn't the first test be an introductory test? Why did they bring out such a strong monster then? He said that this monster seems to have no weak points at all. He saw a fiery wolf heading straight at him and the presenter told the staff that it was written that the wolf cub had to be taken out. But why was the wolf king in the arena? Meanwhile, alcohol splashed in the cup of the VIP guest, who sat in a special room above the arena and watched the fight. The Jormungand girl approached him and, calling him Elder Hua, said that according to his instructions, the E-tier monster was replaced with an A-tier. He said that was great, she did a good job. Even if someone is brought to justice, they just need to clean up their tracks a little and blame it all on problems in the system. Of course, no one will guess that it was their doing. Meanwhile, Su Lai thought that wolves belonged to the canine class, which means that they swiftly attack and tear apart. The wolf was wandering around Su Lai and he thought that now it was looking for a moment to attack. After that, the wolf rushed forward and Su Lai thought that it had begun. The host said that the steel wolf is the first to attack. Well, they will see if Su Lai can hold out. Lu Xing wished him good luck and Su Lai thought that they needed to put in as much effort as possible, otherwise he would be embarrassed to lose in his first test. He concentrated and reached floor 100 of his strength, then 1000. The wolf got scared and destructive force began to emanate from Su Lai, then the wolf was thrown into the edge of the arena and the presenter asked, did they see correctly? Su Lai's energy pushed back the steel wolf. What power? Is he really in the period of Kai purification? Some spectators were injured by a wolf hitting the edge of the arena and one of them said to quickly ensure the safety of the people sitting in the front row. The presenter asked for forgiveness and said that he would arrange everything now. The doctors shifted the victim onto a stretcher and one of them said that he thought that the first row could be extremely dangerous. He almost died. The girls surrounded Lu Xing and said that her boyfriend was so good. He defeated an 11-level monster. He looked pretty brave. Lu Xing began to feel shy and said that they were just classmates. She was very embarrassed and thought that Su Lai's strength was amazing. Even she, at the stage of laying the foundation, was not sure that she could defeat the monster and he, being in the period of Kai purification. The steel wolf stood up and the leader said that it seemed angry. Let Su Lai try. After that, the wolf began to circle around Su Lai and he thought that it wanted to confuse him with its fast movements. He cannot predict from which side it will attack. Immediately after this, 4 phantom wolves attacked him at once and the presenter said that the steel wolf resorted to his crown technique, wolf shadow. Su Lai thought, why are there 4 of them? Which body is real? He touched the ground and thought, since he does not understand which of them is real. The host said that it seems like Su Lai is going to fight back. He releases energy. Su Lai thought that in this case, he would kill them all. After that, energy began to emanate from him and the phantom wolves disappeared, and the real wolf's paw and fingers were cut off. The host said that for some unknown reason, the steel wolf seemed to have lost its ability to move. The guy from the staff said that this isn't a level monster. Why did it fall out to Su Lai? Another guy said he didn't believe it. He couldn't be in the purification period. The wolf stopped, and then Su Lai stretched out his hand and grabbed it by the mouth, saying that he caught it. The next moment, he hit the wolf's head on the ground and the announcer said that Su Lai knocked down the steel wolf. It's just incredible. The steel wolf was defeated and Su Lai thought he won't have to pay for the destroyed floor. The host said that Su Lai, who was in the period of Kai purification, played against the steel wolf. He survived one round. After that, doctors approached him and asked for forgiveness, saying that they tried very hard. The host said that unfortunately the steel wolf could not move. Then he announced that Su Lai had won this test. He raised his hand up and one of the spectators said that he did a good job. He admits he chuckled a little earlier. Someone else said that how could the holder of a black card be weak? Losing was happy to defeat him and said that she knew he would be fine. The host touched the wolf's body and said that now they will look at Su Lai's trophies. He pulled out a crystal from the corpse and said that it was all a piece of an 11 monster's crystal. The spectators were surprised and the girl said that this crystal seemed to be worth 100,000 yuan. Another viewer said that he hopes he too will have the opportunity to get a similar crystal. The guy asked what nonsense he was talking about. Crystals appear only after killing 11 monsters. If he goes, he will definitely die. The host handed the crystal to Su Lai and told him to take it. Su Lai asked, "Is it his now?" The presenter confirmed his words and said that all the Colosseum awards belonged to the participant. Points were also transferred to the guild account. Su Lai saw a sign in front of him with his balance. Now he has 500 points on his balance. The host said that the points of the underground guild are the currency of the underground city. He can exchange them for things at any time. Su Lai thought that no one in this world knew about the value of the crystal. Be it alchemy, cultivation, or inlaid magical tools, more crystals are required. Crystals are graded C, B, A, and S. The higher the quality of the crystals, the more energy and value. By killing monsters, he can not only receive guild points, but also crystals. He imagined himself to be the richest man in Wuji City and thought that if he fought every day, perhaps in just a few days he would become the richest man. Losing whispered in his ear that she congratulated him on his first victory as well as on receiving the crystals. Su Lai laughed, still lost in his dreams, and ignored her. At this time, Elder Hua became angry and said that he had managed to escape again. Are there more people? His subordinate told him not to worry, she was on her way. Meanwhile, the woman went down to the arena and the doors opened in front of her. As soon as she entered the arena, she raised her hand and said that she wanted to fight Su Lai. The host turned around and told the audience that Su Lai had been challenged. Let them greet Su Lai, the owner of the black card, the person who defeated the level a monster. Now he will have to face another test. Exactly. This girl came for an 11 crystal. It looks like today's Kai refinement period participant will remain famous. The girl told Su Lai that he should accept the challenge. Losing asked indignantly, what the hell? He had just defeated the monster, why challenge him again? What nonsense is this? The girl told her not to be angry, anyone who went to the Colosseum cannot refuse the challenge. This is the rule of their underground guild. Su Lai asked if there were too many rules. Losing became angry and Su Lai put his hand on her shoulder and said that since they were all looking forward to the battle, then he would show them a show. Don't let her worry, everything will be fine. She agreed, then Su Lai stood in front of his opponent. He examined the muscular woman and suddenly noticed something. She had a snake tattoo on her stomach, peeking out from under her clothes. Su Lai thought, Jormungand again. It turns out they are not finished. The host said that he would introduce them to the rules. There are no time limits or rules, all they have to do is defeat their opponent. The woman took out a blade and the presenter said that the winner could receive any reward from the competitor, including life. Su Lai was scared when he saw her weapon and she quickly rushed towards him. Meanwhile, the elder watched the start of their fight and said that he recognizes that Su Lai is the most amazing person with a period of Kai purification that he has ever seen. It's a pity that he decided to become an enemy, in which case, let him stay in the lifting city forever. The woman continued to advance towards Su Lai and he asked where she got the weapon from. The rules say that you cannot use weapons. He dodged her blow, but she quickly regained her bearings and attacked again, but he dodged and then a hidden blade appeared from her shoes. Su Lai thought, does she still have it? She swung her leg while he was in the air and struck, but her blade broke and she wondered if he blocked the blow. The chainmail under Su Lai's clothes protected him from the blow and he thought that fortunately the teacher gave him the attribute, otherwise nothing would have happened. He covered the hole in his clothes and thought that he had a feeling that she knew no martial arts. His clothes are ruined. The woman looked at the broken blade and thought, how is this possible? At this moment, Su Lai decided to act and attacked her, thinking that whenever the Jormungand attack, their people are almost worthless. He grabbed the woman by the head and pulled her towards him, and then hit her with his knee. The impact caused blood to gushing from her mouth and she flew away, and the audience in the front row exclaimed, again. They need to escape. The woman hit the edge of the arena and lost consciousness, and people asked, did he kill her with one blow? He has been going to the Colosseum for more than half a year, but he has never seen anyone kill an opponent with just one hit. There must be some limit. The naked guy said that luckily she lost, otherwise he would have had a hard time. His friend sitting next to him said that he had lost something. The presenter began to check the woman's condition and thought, is she unconscious? He said that the opponent was without breath, therefore she could not fight anymore. Sulai won this fight. What an exciting moment, let them all congratulate Sulai on her victory. The spotlights were directed at Sulai and the presenter, and the girl raised his hands up as a sign of victory. Viewers said he was amazing. Perfect victory. Losing was delighted and said that he is the best. For winning, Sulai received 15 points, and then the presenter put his hand on Sulai's shoulder and said that according to the rules, he can take any item from his competitor. However, since no one notified them about the weapon, it was declared invalid. She has no other items, so all her points are credited to him. He whispered to him that he scored 2,000 points in a day. He earned a lot of money. Sulai smiled awkwardly, and the host announced that today's game in the Colosseum was over. He thanked them all for their hard work. He invites everyone to come tomorrow. Meanwhile, in the VIP room, Elder Hua asked how did that guy win. His subordinate replied that he killed a professional assassin at the foundation stage with just one blow. The communication device in the elder's hand lit up and he threw it on the floor, and then an image of one of the Jormungand elders appeared in front of him, who said that Sulai is a variable value, he cannot be ignored. Otherwise, he will ruin all their plans. Elder Hua said that let them rely on him, he will never leave things like this. The image disappeared and the elder finally said that he had never let them down, unlike that idiot. Elder Hua went to the window and, looking at Sulai, told his subordinates to send a message to number 23. Tonight at the old place. His subordinates obeyed his order, and at this time Sulai grabbed Lu Xing's hand and said that they need to get out of here. She asked what happened. He replied that the opponent was from Jormungand. She asked in surprise, from Jormungand, where are they here from? They entered the elevator and pressed the button, asking, does she remember that the director said that Jormungand's true goal could be to get into the city of Wuji? He thinks there's a bigger purpose behind it all, and the opponent did not look like a person who came to earn points. It seems her goal was to kill him. It's very dangerous here, they need to be extremely careful. They arrived at the right floor and Lu Xing said that each floor of the underground guild was designed into different functional partitions. This is amazing. Sulai led her down the corridor and said that their rooms were here. Lu Xing stopped next to his room and Sulai said that he would be nearby. If anything happened, then let her call. She agreed and said that he must have been very tired today, fighting monsters. Let him go back to the room and rest. She stopped at the door and embarrassedly said that he was very handsome today. She wished him good night, and immediately after that she went into the room and slammed the door. Sulai blushed and then walked into the room and locked the door. He took the phone and thought that he needed to tell the director about the meeting with Jormungand as quickly as possible. Who knows, maybe they're up to something again. Meanwhile, in the director's office, Def was sitting at the computer, but suddenly his phone rang and he thought it was too late. Who could it be? He answered the call and Sulai said that in the underground guild he again met with a member of Jormungand. The director was very surprised and asked how he was doing. Are there any injuries? Sulai began to tell him everything, and as the story progressed, the director took notes and Sulai said that he even fought against her, but don't let him worry, he's fine. Wu Def said that he would deal with this and let them be very careful, let them call at any time. He ended the call and thought, why did the Jormungand members come to the underground guild? What does the bureau actually do? He dialed the bureau's number and meanwhile employees were working in their reception department. The girl picked up the phone and Wu Dafa asked, is this the law enforcement bureau? Let them tell you how the investigation into the Jormungand invasion of Kaiyuan school is going. The girl who answered the phone was painting her nails at the time and said that they had not received information about the invasion of Kaiyuan school. Def shouted indignantly, didn't you receive it? A few days ago their people took the bodies of the Jormungand members. The girl flinched from his scream and missed with her brush. She looked irritably at the ruined nail and told him to calm down. She can say with confidence that the Law Enforcement Bureau did not receive information about the Jormungand organization. And there were no corpses either. She continued to shout at him and Wu Dafa thought, how can this be? He is sure that the people from the bureau came and took the bodies. What happened? Meanwhile, in a dark alley of the underground city, Elder Hua met with number 23. The two men in robes met each other and the elder said that they had not seen each other for a long time. He adjusted his monocle, and the brooch of a member of the Law Enforcement Bureau glittered on his suit. Coffins appeared behind him and he said that he had brought him something. He placed the coffins on the ground and their lids fell down, revealing the contents. Inside the coffins were the corpses of Liang Yonghui and Ao Ma. Elder Hua said that in addition, there is one more thing. Number 23 approached the corpses and said that this was rare experimental material. What does he want? The elder replied that he needed to kill one person. Number 23 asked who did so much damage that he came forward in person. The elder replied that even though he was at the Kai purification stage, he still defeated the owner of the golden pill. He shouldn't underestimate him. Number 23 grinned, revealing his sharp teeth, and said that he was in a period of Kai purification, which was quite interesting. Perhaps this is just the perfect experimental material. Elder Hua looked at him and said that he didn't care what purpose he would use it for, but he should not leave the underground city. From under the elder's hood, the face of Hua Lao, captain of the 9th Division of the Law Enforcement Bureau, appeared.